It's time for Respect the Process, a short chat about commercial filmmaking. Here's your host, Director Jordan Brady.
Oh, thank you, Helen. Listeners, it is December 18th, 2025. Director Zack Seckler is on the show. Zack, he's also a photographer, Helen, quite accomplished. He's had a busy year. He's been in Ad Age, Shots, Ad Week. He's had spots in Ads of the World and Ad of the Week. And I've been sitting on this conversation for, a couple of months. And things got busy, things happened. But I'm finally able to present Zack to you, listeners. You're going to love it. You know, I tell you about Magic Mind all the time, but they're having a big sale coming up for the new year. New year, new you. And I just did some, I'm going to use air quotes, Helen, content. I'm a grandfluencer, grandpa influencer. And you get like $300 and something worth of Magic Mind for $74.25. It's insane. And I've been hopped up on the Magic Mind for a couple of years now. So I'm telling you, you don't even need to use the code Brady20 or go to magicmind.com/Jordan Brady. You can, but I think you save more with their sale. Boot camp is January 24th in Los Angeles. And let me just tell you, been doing the boot camp for 10 years, 3-4 times a year. And this is the first one since, I think, last spring. I'm only going to take 10 filmmakers. There's 6 spots left. And right now, you can give yourself the gift of knowledge and level up your career by signing up before Christmas Eve. It makes a great Hanukkah present, too. We still got a few days left. And the boot camp it's stuff that I'm not going to say on the podcast. I mean, there's some repeated themes. There's stuff I'm not going to post on the web. It's insider tricks and tips and a philosophy on how to level up both creatively and how to build a career. And it's commercial directing boot camp. What can I tell you? I've not had one person leave disappointed or not improve their career after attending. If you think it's right for you, DM me. We can jump on the phone and I'll talk you out of it. Helen, there will be an artisanal lunch served, sponsored by True Gent. That's right. So that is boot camp January 24th. I hope I can help you. Okay, I'm going to say that's all I got. I just wrapped the 20th year of Pat TV for Valley Toyota. We started in 2005 with the incomparable Pat Finn. An emotional shoot, full of funny, full of comedy, and I can do a whole episode on that. I am bringing a lot of the tips and tricks that we had to do to finish that shoot to boot camp, but I just want to say publicly how grateful I am for a 20-year campaign. Fingers crossed for more. There's no end in sight, but from year to year, we never know if the clients are going to approve the scripts or do it again. So we made it to 20 years, and I'm taking time to really reflect on that and soak it up. And look, repeat business is the name of the game, and Valley Toyota has been a great one with Pat TV and the Lane Terralever Agency. So, okay, let's cue up the tape with Zack Seckler. Zack, we're going to talk about the AI spot that was in Shots magazine.
Okay, the one just from yesterday?
From yesterday. Yesterday You sent me one for Career One Stop.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Thank you.
It's something that could not really be produced without hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That was the point.
And you by trade are a comedy director.
Yes, sir.
Specifically a live action comedy director, much like myself. I espouse the hybrid way as the future, but your spot was 100% AI, correct?
Yeah, 100% AI, including the crocodile chases and the lion tackling the office workers. Yes, all AI.
And what can I ask is, and I can edit this out if you're offended, is Career One Stop a real a real website, or is
It is, Jordan. So
this is a real gig?
No, it's not paid. It's not a paid gig. It is a real place.
It's a spec spot.
It's a spec spot, and what I did.
Cool. Are you cool with people knowing that? Because that's what listeners want to know. Like, is Zack Seckler, and you can learn more at zackseckler.com. Is Zack Seckler getting paid to sit in his underwear, using his tokens to generate commercials when he could be out shooting on a set? That's what listeners want to know. That's what I want to know.
I want to know that too, and I'm going to tell you the answer is no, not yet. And what I've done is, so this is the third spec AI spot that I've done this summer since Google VO3 came out, which was like the big bang of AI video, where it's, AI video combined with the sound, right? And it looks very realistic. Game changer. So I've done 3 spots. They've all been spec, and they've all been PSAs by design, because I figure if I'm not getting paid to do this, Jordan, why not at least give some eyeballs towards good causes, right?
Put some good out into the world. Champion causes that Zack Seckler is fond of.
There you go.
I think it's a super smart way to do it. I use Higgsfield, which has VO3. Do you say VO? How do you say it?
I say VO3. I don't know, but
VO3. That's a choice. Midjourney's a choice, I think. GPT is a choice. Like with Higgsfield's almost like an aggregator. And you can choose. They have their own module called Soul, and I'm using them to promote my own commercial directing film school, which is essentially the mindset of a PSA. Right. It's not paid, but it does help spread the word and blah, blah, blah. So I think you're onto something. I think it's great that you're making these almost like case study spots for your own career, and it helps the rest of us. And thank you for sharing that it was spec. I was hoping you got paid. Right?
So was I.
Like,
so was I.
Go, brother. Go. Get that money.
You know what I actually did, Jordan?
What'd you do?
This last one, the first 2, I didn't. I just put them out into the world. This last one, I felt like it was the best one yet, and I thought that it was just ripe for a brand like Career Builder or Indeed or Glassdoor, any of these. So I did reach out to some CMOs, didn't get one reply. I was hoping that maybe there'd be, they'd let me put their logo on there. The reason I didn't just do that without permission is because I think there's so many feelings and emotions around AI right now in general. And, I think brands are very cautious around it. So I wouldn't want to put something out there and then get a legal, cease and desist or worse. But I did try in this last one. I think this is going to be the last spec one that I do, though. Just because I think
it proves you can do it.
That was the point, right? Yeah.
Interesting. I really respect your respect towards these brands. It's like I was promoting a psychedelic mushroom product that had sponsored some of the episodes recently. And as I'm doing the intro to this podcast, and it may be on this one, I said, by the way, I don't know if the person the filmmaker I'm interviewing wants to even be associated with this. Like, that's not cool. All of a sudden he's on some druggy podcast, right?
Well, so I am tripping right now, Jordan. I hope you don't mind.
No, it's fine. I'm macrodosing. A lot of people microdose. I say if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly.
There you go.
So I think it's smart that you didn't do that and associate them with AI, and when it takes off, they're going to put it in Shots Magazine. They're going to get the kickback.
Right.
Any cease and desist from Career One Stop, or you
not yet.
Need that name? That's a fake name.
No, it's real. It's a government. I've picked government organizations. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Call
it is
Before You Dig. Call Before You Dig was the first one I did, which is like, if you're in construction or you own a home, you may have heard of it.
Dig Alert, they call it.
Yeah, there you go. And then the other one was Water Sense, which was like a water conservation. And then Career One Stop, I just found it on the interwebs. It's like a federal career resource, and I thought the logo was good enough. And it was, and I say clearly at the end, like, this is not intended for broadcast, etc. But I figure, if anything, a federal organization might as well help them.
I wouldn't put the disclaimer, but you did, and I respect you as the director, and it's good that you're helping people. That spot, the One Stop career. Am I saying it right?
Career One Stop. Yeah. Household name now.
Household name.
Yeah.
I love that you shared that. I love that you made it. It's really good. The only shot.
Oh, I want to hear. I like criticism.
The only shot is when I don't know if it's a cheetah or a lioness is running with the crowd. And I'm like, it's a little CG. I didn't think it was AI. I was like, oh, that's like a CG. Just the blend of the two. And I'm being critical because it's a podcast. I haven't made anything nearly as cool as you, so I'm not trying to poo-poo.
No, I agree with you.
Interesting.
I agree with you. And like, honestly, I'm a big critic of my own work. I think every shot in there could have been better for the most part. That lion shot was just, man, I can't tell you how many hours and how much money I spent on some of these just individual shots.
How many trees you killed.
Yeah.
How many lakes
Hopefully
you dried
it offsets
up.
with the PSA, right?
Right.
That's the idea. But that was the best I got. And I just thought it was such a fun moment. And I'm like, if I'm going to go, you're going to go big with this whole idea of career migration and office workers in a migration, wildebeest migration type of environment, you might as well get a big predator moment to pay off at the end, right?
It's called a predator moment.
Yeah.
But here's my twist, because I kind of set you up for the compliment. First, I give the credit. I raise a lot of kids. First, you criticize and you soothe it with a compliment, and I mean this. Two things. One, the end shot where I think it's the same lioness or a puma is licking a shoe, implying that they killed someone, is hilarious, looks amazing, and you couldn't train. That's what AI is for. You couldn't train a big cat long enough to do the one shot, and then you'd have to comp it in on a big rock like that, like the Lion King. What's the rock in Lion King? Pride Mountain.
Yeah,
it's that kind of vibe. So that is a huge compliment. The people look great. The crocodiles look great mixed in with the people. But not unlike an M&M commercial where those those frisky, ornery M&M candy people are roaming the streets with regular people.
Yeah.
I don't think a spot like this has to look real all the time.
I agree.
Right? Is there a sort of a magical realism get out of logic free card that we can play? So I loved it, but I wanted to ask about that shot because I wanted to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's interesting too, because the reaction I've gotten, a lot of people ask, like, is this AI and is it all AI? And if you take any of these spots and you really blow it up, like, so most people are looking on their phones or they're looking at like social media within a web page. So it's pretty small. It's not like a full 1920 pixels wide, right? So if you actually blow it up, if you blow up to 4K, it looks awful. It's kind of like a mirage. Like I say, it's kind of like a desert mirage. Like it looks beautiful from afar, but you get up close and it's all just sand,
a good analogy. Helen, write that down.
Thank you, Helen. So, I don't think it has to be perfect. And I think at this moment where the technology is, this is more just, for me, this has actually been a really creative process. And I started out doing, when I broke into doing live action comedy directing, I've been doing it for 6 years now. I started in 2018. I started doing spec spots, right? And so and spec spots are like, they're amazing reps, creative reps, right?
It's a calling card.
Yeah, and doing a spec spot at this point in my career with live action, I don't, doesn't really make sense. But being able to play in the world of filmmaking with anything that you can imagine at your fingertips, teleporting to this African landscape and being able to play with predators and thousands of extras, it's really, it's intoxicating. In a way I think for filmmakers that is part of the reason that we got into filmmaking. I mean, there's a huge other part that we're not getting. There's, I'm by myself on my laptop, I'm not on set with working with human beings and all the wonderful things that come with live action. But it's a different medium.
Amen. It's interesting. I started playing around in fall of 23 back when, and then the first video in 24, probably spring, summer 2024 was defined by, Will Smith eating spaghetti with 7 fingers and all that. And now, like your spot proves and stuff I've output, I think looks really good. And as a creative sandbox, I'm really loving some stills. Like I had a big LinkedIn hit for
I saw that.
A micro nano influencer grandpa with spoofing the jeans.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney's.
Yep.
Yeah. The Blue Jean ad. And that was, so here's the thing. I've been doing visual posts, hopefully infusing comedy using Photoshop for years, like fake outdoor advertising for commercial directing film school. I mean, I've had friends say, did you get a building? Like, I saw your billboard. In fact, my wife's movie came out in fall of 22, and I took the movie, like the movie's social postcard that they were putting up and formatted it and put it on a billboard, made sure the power lines crossed. There's a car in the bottom.
Nice.
And the cast
nice
were
touch.
Calling, where's the billboard?
Yeah.
Like, it fooled everybody.
Yeah.
So AI, to me, is just like Photoshop on Red Bull when it comes to the stills. So Sydney Sweeney's spoof was literally 12 minutes when I went in the house to take a break. And I go, fuck, if I don't spoof that today, that moment is gone.
Right.
So there's an application for AI, in my humble opinion, Zach, for timeliness.
Yep.
For quick output. And agencies that are building their own in-house AI production units are, I mean, the juggernaut, and I haven't seen what he's done with AI, but Ryan Reynolds was able to spit out live action commentary in the form of a spoof ad or something, or him talking. Like he has, Johnny, Thelma, grab a camera and sound. We're going to make a commercial in about 45 minutes. Like, I think he must have people on staff.
Yeah.
That's you and I with AI. Does it push the traditional filmmaking to be a little more timeless?
Interesting.
And then there's another question, and I'll shut up. One of my favorite spots of yours is for Dollar Shave Club. And a guy walks, for the listeners, I'm going to post it at jordanbrady.com. Or you can go to Zack's. What is your website?
ZackSeckler.com.
ZackSeckler.com. We keep it simple for you, folks.
Try.
People put the long names. Come on. The Dollar Shave Club spot is so well executed with taste, high production value, comedy. I think it's a minute, right? Or more?
Yeah.
Right?
There's cut downs, but yeah.
A guy walks into a speakeasy. He has to say the right word. It's funny. Finally, a guy behind a desk drops straight down, pops straight back up with a robe and something else. And he goes, it's for shaving your balls. So already we're laughing, but in this stylized, not overly hyper real, just a stylized world. What's my point? When's he going to shut up? I don't know how AI, I think there's something so wonderful, and there's a quality as I rub my fingers together that I can't put my name on it, that resonates with other humans, that's funnier because it's real humans in a real world, and that's a real set. And maybe in a year, VO7 is going to do that. I'm having a hard time envisioning the craft that you put into that. The question is, will AI become delegated and relegated to doing quick turnaround, fantastical, go to Africa, do something you couldn't do naturally, and then these are masterpiece theater over here? Right.
Yeah, I think.
Long jump.
Well, first off, thanks for the kind words about the Dollar Shave Club spot.
Yeah,
I did that in December of 2024, and it's definitely my favorite spot that I've done so far. And it's particularly meaningful because, first of all, I'm such a big fan of the original Dollar Shave Club. that launch video that, that everybody knows, that really put the brand forward, and it's like a case study for viral videos. And they contact
Lucia.
I don't remember the director.
No, she did Broad City. She is the creator of Hacks.
Oh, really?
I tried to
I
sign
love
her.
Hacks.
Yeah. She just like rolled her eyes at me.
Well, it was particularly meaningful because it was a direct to client spot, and they welcomed me into the creative process early. I had a big part in writing the script for that. And it was very much, everyone says collaborative, and everyone says collaborative, but this was so collaborative. Our ideas were like melding on everything. They trusted me for locations, DP, the lead cast, like everything. And it wasn't because they were just like, oh, let Zack handle it. It was because we all were on the same page. So
that's great. Is it the same guy who's in the launch videos? He's still around, or he's sold out? And he
made like $1 billion.
He made tons,
yes.
oodles of coin.
Yeah. But anyway, so thank you for that. I think to answer your question, I think that where AI in the short term, and I think we can only really think short term with AI because who knows what's around the corner, right?
Sure.
But I think that the more, to think of it from the perspective of the advertiser and the funnel, right? And having the top of the funnel spots are the things, the bigger broadcast spots that are setting the tone for the brand and live on for several months. And they're what get the big bucks, right? In terms of investment from the brands. And then you have the bottom of the funnel, like the buy now, this is our deal of the week Pizza Hut thing, right?
Sure, like a retail spot.
Yeah. So I think those bottom of the funnel spots are at the greatest, are the lowest hanging fruit for AI to come in on that territory.
Agreed.
Because it's less about the overall creative vision. It's more just about, this is our offer of the week type of thing. I do think to what you're saying, there's an intangible quality to seeing human beings on a screen. There's the nuance of human performance, and add down and a drop down list from there of everything you get with live action production, right? How a camera actually acts in real space, the parallax of movement, all these small things that the eye does pick up. And again, like I was saying about the Mirage, if you take one of these AI spots and you look at it on your 4K 70 million inch TV, it's not going to hold up, right? So
not ready for the Super Bowl party on the big screen that I just brought home from Costco.
Exactly. So I think that those spots are going to survive. And first of all, fingers crossed, I hope that the amount of live action production stays the same or goes higher. We're both directors. We love being on set. We love working with people. We love everyone having jobs. So, not to think about this in a way that's callous in any way, but, thinking of having used these tools and seeing what they're capable of, I think basically some of the more kind of throwaway ads that don't have a long lifetime are going to get kind of swallowed up in the next.
I hope you're right. I shot yesterday, and for time and money reasons, we duplicated one set. And we changed the set dressing, but it's clearly the same wall and desk. Computers and plants and photos and everything are different. But it's still the same thing. Now, they'll never, as I told the client, they'll never air back to back. They're two separate spots, except at the award show. Like when it matters, and people will go, oh, look at that. And I'm going to play around. I talked to the editor today. I'm going to play around with, can I put an AI fake Rothko painting in the background? And it's a moving camera. And then secretly the DP and I shot a locked off shot. Well, not secretly. We told everybody we were doing it. But I didn't think for that reason. Now in hindsight, I'm like, well, if we open on the locked off wide shot, we could establish the painting. I can put it in and boom. And I'm not going to get into copyright and all that because I'll chop it up enough to make it original. So I think that's a great application of AI, is to add, and people are doing it. I might have given a shout out to this agency in San Diego the other week, Raindrop, and they show up in my Instagram feed where they're shooting vertical on a television, putting two actors really close together, And then, Zach, they use scene extension with AI. In fact, yours truly, before this podcast, Zach, I took a spot from 2019, pre-pandemic, and it was a bonus bit that I shot with the agency that they never finished. So it says like Ontario Jeep. And so the end shot has a local dealer when it should just be blank, and you see Jeep and Chrysler and all that. That's so easy now. I mean, literally, I just generative fill in the space, mask it over. AI soon will be built into Premiere, like After Effects or DaVinci, whatever you're using, and will be able to modify film. So this is that hybrid thing we're talking about.
Yep.
Hey, we can't afford a kangaroo. Just leave a little space, camera left, and we'll draw in a kangaroo. So now, the animal trainer, my friend Judy at Bow Wow Productions right now listening. Judy, I love you. Maybe kangaroo sales drop.
Yeah.
Comedy directors will take a hit. There was another example. Oh, like for the bit yesterday, the previs with AI had a couple people I showed going, did you already shoot that? It was it was like a product shot. And so I could see product shots maybe going the way of AI. And Zach and Jordan are in charge of being the connective tissue from live action to AI. So all this investment you're doing now is going to pay off.
Yeah, we'll
God
see.
willing.
We'll see. I think there's a lot of, what you're talking about is right on the money, and I think that ideally, like where we see AI really making an impact in live action or in advertising is within, broadening the scope of what's possible with live action, right? In all the ways. Yeah.
Go ahead. No,
just in all the ways you're talking about, like budgets are what they are, right? Their brands need to put out more content these days, more spots. So make that budget go farther with the scene extension by having an opening shot that's, you open and we're in the 1800s and then you go into the saloon, and the saloon is all shot in one location one day. You can do it, but it makes the scope, the world feel so much bigger, and the creative really land that much more.
That's a great one. Random question. Do you ever get young Liam Neeson? You ever get that one?
I have not, no.
I think you have Liam Neeson eyes.
Yeah. Zach, but I'm excited to see the new Naked Gun.
I've heard good. Heard good. And I'm old school, so I have a high bar.
Same here.
That I hold it up to. I think we've crushed AI. We've talked about that for a half hour. Any final thoughts on it? Like, I think you really nailed it.
Final thoughts on AI. Well, here's what I would say is to, folks that are listening that are scared, that are fearful.
The crew are scared. I tried to quell their fears.
Well, I'm talking about, all I know is directing. I don't know anything else. So I'm talking to directors. And what I would say is it's not a time to be fearful. I think it's a time to be proactive and to play with the tools. You look back at DSLR, coming in, you look at,
it was a revolution.
I mean, you look at the typewriter, like, try the typewriter. You've been writing cursive for a while. It works. There's this new technology out. Just try it. And I think when you try it, you'll see that there's less to be scared of, because it still really comes down to taste and the taste of you as an individual. And that's something that you really can't generate. So that would just be my one little piece of advice for anyone listening. Because that's partially what motivated me to do this is I was scared as hell. When VO3 came out, I mean, I was shaking in my boots, and I was just, I was like, I got to see what this is about and explore it. And that kind of made me less fearful. But I know there's a lot of fear around this technology. So that would be my advice. That's
a good wrap up. I'll just beat the dead horse then. I sent my son, Ben Brady, a talented cinematographer and director in his own right. Somebody had posted a highly realistic photographic picture done in AI, and then you swipe, and there's the lengthy paragraph prompt. And it's got your f-stops and your lenses and your, it's got a lot of tech talk in the prompt to get that realistic look with, dust and texture and everything, so that the skills for the cinematographer are going to translate. The example, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on here, but I think Roger Deakins was the DP of Rango, a lizard cartoon mouthed by Johnny Depp. And it was a cartoon. And they had an Oscar-winning DP. So if you have taste, like you pointed out, Zach, you're going to work. The technicians, there's going to be work for the below-the-line crew. It's a real existential threat on the surface of it. The other thing... There was another thing about it. Well, anyway.
I agree with you, Jordan. I think I certainly hope that they get as much work as they've ever gotten. And that this kind of floats. Yeah, and I feel like I hope this floats all boats, because the hybrid can really open up so much more. It can also give brands more opportunity to take risks. It's easier to take a risk now, and it's easier to sell a client on a cool, big idea.
Smaller clients will be able to enter the game. Okay. How did Zack Seckler get started in filmmaking in 2018? You're a young man. What are you even 30 yet?
No, I'm in my early 40s. But Jordan, you're funny. Almost throws up his water. I started out. Geez, I feel like I've been in the visual arts for a while now. I started out in photojournalism.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to work.
Other than war and poverty and disease, what do photojournalists cover? You ever go to a parade?
The thing that really attracted me to photojournalism was these human interest stories that were in National Geographic. And a lot of these, there's different collectives back in the day. There's one called, I think they're still around, called Magnum, not to be confused with the Men's Consumer Rand. And just people that follow really interesting, again, human interest stories around the world, far-flung cultures and people from different eras. And that was what really attracted me to photojournalism, was kind of like that, the ability to access really interesting people and situations. I did that in New York City, which is not the place for finding National Geographic stories. And I kind of worked for newspapers, and I worked for the Associated Press, and I was basically a news photographer for a little while. I kind of found that it would be extremely difficult to actually to make it and to make a living, especially as a photojournalist. I kind of got to know some of the top people in the industry, and they were struggling. And I was like, geez, I'm in my 20s here. I want to have a family. I don't think I can stay here. So
what killed that profession? Camera phones?
I think it was kind of already dead when I was...
technology that came along?
It was always really hard. It's for people who just, amazing people who are just all about the story. I found over time that I was really very interested in visual creativity, and there's a limit to that with photojournalism. You can't ethically change anything.
Sure, and the Vietnam era photos were criticized years later for that.
Yeah. So
Did
I
you
kind
ever
of
stage an event?
No.
If I asked the little girl to lay down and throw
that's
up,
what you think all the time. You're like, gosh, if they would just move a tiny bit to the right, or if they would just do that thing again.
Act more sick.
Yeah. That's funny. So Jordan, to fast forward a little bit, I have this moment that I always remember from being in a Barnes & Noble. I lived in Union Square. I lived right by Union Square, and I used to go to Barnes & Noble, and I picked up a copy of Communication Arts magazine, and it was the Communication Arts Photo Annual. And it's all
for the listener, Barnes & Noble's was what we called a bookstore, like a physical shop with 2 or 3 floors full of books, zines, periodicals. And Communication Arts, the Bible of visual Art's probably a monthly magazine.
I think so. Yeah, monthly.
Oh, wasn't it an oversized magazine?
No, it was standard size, but it was very nice paper stock.
Good,
We're
thick
talking,
paper stock.
Yeah, nice pounds per square inch paper stock.
Good thread
GSM.
count. Is it really? That's the initials they call it?
I think it's GSM. Is like the
GSM, high GSM.
High
Okay, so
GSM.
you're in the Barnes and Noble, Union Square, a melting pot in Manhattan.
And I pick up a copy of Communication Arts Photo Annual, and I turn to this advertising section, and I see ads that are just so, the combination of simple copy and images is so smart and funny and clever that I fall in love with it. And I'm like, ooh, I want to do this. And it really put me on a path of getting into advertising. And I think there's one image in particular that I remember. It's of, so picture an open desert, and there's a bunny sitting in between two tire tracks.
Okay.
And it says, I think it's for Land Rover, and it says something like high clearance vehicles now available. So it's like, if it was low clearance, the bunny would have been run over.
It would have been decapitated, right?
So
like
it's just such
chocolate.
so it's just such a simple like combination of words and images. That really clicked with me, and that pushed me into advertising photography, which I did. This story kind of goes on, so I can shorten it up.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You're there at the Barnes and Noble. You're holding the magazine. You'd already purchased it, or you're looking.
I think I was like a browser, and I would drink the Starbucks coffee and browse.
They had a Starbucks inside of the bookstore.
They did, yeah.
And you have this aha moment. And what is your next action step to go to get into advertising and be an art director or whatever you want to do?
Great question. Well, so that was a question that I had too. And I started doing like test shoots, which is like the same thing as doing spec spots.
Yeah.
And then one big thing that I did, which was really super helpful, which is kind of similar to what we're doing here, is that I started like an online magazine, and I would interview, I'd kind of pick some of my favorite photographers from these places like Communication Arts and Archive, and I would find like some of the people that I just absolutely admired. I'd say, hey, can I interview you for this online magazine I'm doing? And I had this monthly online magazine, and I got to...
What was that called?
It was called the F-Stop, and then I changed the name over to Creators Are Us. It's still up there.
I'm going to look at it.
I ended up... That was also how I got into directing too, or I learned more, as I reached out to directors. I interviewed Jim Jenkins, Ryan Buckley, David Shane, list goes on. And that website is still up. I haven't added to it in a long time.
How did you just reach out?
Yeah. Just like you reached out to me,
I love it.
I reached out and it gave me, it was a win-win because it's free information for people in my shoes. And I get to ask any question I want about, hey, how did you do this shoot? How do relationships work at ad agencies and all that stuff that is, especially at that time, this is over 10 years ago, was just completely opaque. The process was so hard to figure out.
That was
that
the
really
reasoning
helped me.
behind this. A lot of it was, why are people gatekeeping? Why should someone go through the same trials and tribulations that are just basic knowledge? And YouTube, I think, was a big influence, right?
Yeah.
For me, like, if people are just putting their info out on YouTube, it's not hurting them to share.
Yeah.
And you were just inquisitive. Ryan Buckley was on this podcast. I was a little nervous going in. He was the nicest guy, shared so freely. Now, Davey Shane,
I heard that one.
He has passed. Was it okay?
It was great. I listened to it. It was a long one, right?
It was a long one. Might have been two-parter. I don't know.
Was it two-part?
He had a spot.
It was in the last couple months.
Yeah, it was like it was in the June.
Yeah.
I asked him why spots on his reel from years ago, decades ago. He goes, because I think they're funny. I like the work. So the fact that you point out that the Dollar Shave Club is however many years old doesn't matter. It stands the test of time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you do the creators are us.
Mm-hmm.
You branch out from photographers to directors,
Mm-hmm.
and then this dream of being like a advertising photographer, art director, but I like copywriting and I like the witty phrases. I should be a director. Or did you make a pit stop in agency life?
I didn't make a pit stop in agency life. I would, in another lifetime, I would love to work at an ad agency. Every time I'm working a new job with a set of creatives, I feel like they're my people. Like they're
nice folks.
They're great folks, and I just love the whole idea of it. I think it's such a cool. I think what we get to do is pretty cool as directors, but I think just the whole idea part of it is so attractive to me too. But no, I didn't. I just went from, and I still work as a photographer.
Yes, I've saw that on your website.
I still do like national, global ad campaigns. These days it's very much intertwined with live action a lot of the times. I try to remember what I don't know if there was an exact Barnes and Noble moment for me, but I think there was a time when right around 2010, when the magazine started folding, right after the financial crisis.
Oh yeah. Who had the spare cash to buy your zine?
Yeah.
Was it free?
It was free. It was free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a time where I think the Canon 5D was coming out too. And there was there was this move to motion, and photographers were being encouraged by their reps to, hey, you should like do some cinemagraphs or shoot like little, little clips of things. And I was like, oh man, like this isn't why I got into photography. Like this isn't very interesting. But slowly, and so I didn't really do that. But over the years, I kind of started looking at commercials in a different way. And I started noticing some spots like the David Shane spots, the Harold Einstein. I was like, gosh, these Geico spots are pretty funny, you know?
Harold Einstein is one of my favorite directors.
Me too.
Also turned me down to be on the podcast. Still one of my favorite directors.
He turned me down too, Jordan. I asked him for his... he just,
he does a broad sense... He has a broad style of comedy, and effects has evolved with effects to use them. I would think he would love AI and the hybrid technique that we've talked about.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he does anything in space. Yeah.
Did you say in the space or in space?
Oh, I guess
because you could literally
now that
do
we're
something
talking
in
about
space,
it.
you know?
Yeah.
So
anything's possible.
You fold the online digital zine. Your reps are saying shoot some motion. The cinemagraphs didn't last very long. I mean, I always thought they were cool. The first one I remember was like a fire hydrant and the water's coming out, but the kids are static. Frozen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that one? That was
but
they've gone the way of the NFT and the pet rock and the digipets. It didn't last, in my opinion. Maybe they're still around, right? Now they're just GIFs.
Hi, it's me, Jake, the editor. You probably know Commercial Directing Film School offers in-person boot camps and online courses. But did you know my dad does one-on-one consultations? Yeah, he does. So, now you know, okay? Anyway, now back to this enthralling interview.
What's your dream project? Zack Seckler's dream project.
I think that
could be
Dollar
a
Shave
film, book, could be a haiku, could be anything.
I think right now, I'm really focused on comedy advertising at the highest level of creative.
Yeah.
I think that Dollar Shave Club thing I did back in December, that's the high watermark for my reel so far, and I want to do more work like that. So that's really it. Like I love project-based work. It works so well with just my DNA. I love getting completely obsessed with one thing for like a month and then moving on. Yeah.
Yes.
And Jordan, like it's interesting because, I told you in person, that
when we hugged at the director showcase.
Yes.
I think it was
we had our embrace.
2023.
Maybe it was.
I think it was a couple years ago.
Okay. All right.
Was it in New York?
It was in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years ago. Okay. Well, listening to your podcast, actually helped inform my opinion about, TV, that's kind of cool. Like, features, that's kind of cool. And hearing you talk about it, helped inform my decision of like, episodic television, it's a whole other thing. And if you get a pilot, that's amazing. Like that's the rocket ship. You get a pilot and it lands and it's popular. That's amazing. But outside of that, it feels like I'm pretty happy where I am in commercials.
Yeah.
I just want to get the best quality scripts and the weirdest, zaniest, quirkiest, most absurd stuff. Like I want to do more of that. So that's really my dream.
That's a great answer. Now, if I go to zackseckler.com and I click on contact, it's going to take me to a company. It's going to take me to a rep. Where should the listeners right now? What if there's big shot advertising guru, creative director listening right now? She says, get me Zack Seckler. And she's on Apple iTunes, show notes, boom, clicks your name. Where's it going to take her?
The contact page will...
what link do I put to your name?
Oh, just zackseckler.com.
Okay, and then she scrolls to contact. Where's that going to take her? An info? Send me
there's
a note
so I'm freelance. I work with lots of different production companies based on the job. I also work direct to client. I've worked in kind of like every different configuration you can imagine.
What's your favorite?
My favorite?
Favorite situation? Direct to client, freelance through a production company, agency hires you, and you were about to say you're repped in the Middle East.
Well, I'm repped as a photographer. I have exclusive representation as a photographer.
That's good.
But yes, with B&A reps out of New York and internationally. Shout out B&A. But, I think that really whatever project allows me to work the closest with creatives is a project that is something that I'm going to love, regardless of the format of how it happens, if it's through a production company or direct to client. But I love getting in on the earlier side and with like on the script development side or having an idea that's like, we want you to run with this. Like, here's one line to explain in the script to explain this entire scene. Like, you fill in the dots, you fill in the color.
I have to say, I concur that the less there is in the script, but it's a well-defined purpose, like the strategy of the campaign and all the stuff that comes before us. The intent of the commercial is this, and this is our description, and maybe there's one photograph or an AI generated or a piece of stock footage or a drawing. Mm-hmm. That to me is the best because it's a launching pad for collaboration.
Yep, exactly.
And I count my blessings. Like yesterday, I worked with these two gentlemen. One I'd worked with before a handful of times. It's top secret, or I'd tell you their names. And then the other guy we just met, but we clicked, and I'd known his work, and it was just like the roles were well defined. I had a lot of rope to hang myself to run with it. And they knew clearly what they liked, and then open communication, and it was just like it was effortless. Mm-hmm. I love those jobs.
Yeah,
and
they're the best.
It's funny because I find that on the podcast a lot when I talk to directors like yourself, we talk about that relationship, and sometimes we talk about, like if I'm talking to a cinematographer or a sound mixer or an editor, they're totally different conversations. On-set crew that I talk to, we talk about the working relationship of how we get into a flow as a team and prep and budgets and making more and not that a lot of tech talk on the respect the process. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the director needs to know a little bit about a lot.
Yep.
Like, my son can run circles around me with all the tech. Like when I'm, or any DP I work with, run circles, and they'll, what lens you want to use? I go, I don't know. What's the cool one everyone's using? Don't say Kubrick, you know. I don't know how important that is. I think having ideas, knowing how to play well with others, and building upon an idea, and having that soft skill of knowing, okay, where on the pendulum is this working relationship?
Yeah.
Am I expected to run with it, or do they really just want me to like I did one where literally the producer it was a client direct, and the producer, who has produced hundreds of commercials, kind of casually mentioned that I was there to get those wonderful performances like on my reel, and that really I wasn't to care. They asked for a DP recommendation. We used that DP. It was my son, actually. But it wasn't like there were so many choices that were going on either before I was hired or in the midst of me prepping, like, oh, no, we're going to do this. Oh, they're going to wear that. Which I'm happy with, because it's not about me. It's about what's best for the project.
Right.
But having an awareness of where you fit. Whereas then there's been some jobs where it's literally these lines, one picture, create something. It was another long rant, Zach. I'm sorry.
No, I think you articulated something really well that is really important, because it's the finesse of soft skills. It's the finesse of knowing, and I think this is something that I've learned while having enough reps now as a live action director. I've been in these situations just like what you're talking about. The one where it's, you get the one line and you fill in the dots, or you color the whole scene and they trust you. And then the other where they overrule you on a lot of things, and you kind of realize after you've gotten the job, well, they kind of don't want me to chime in on that many things. And having that awareness is so valuable. And I think that's a big differentiator in what helps you get a job, and then what helps you also get the next job, and ingratiate yourself with an agency, with an EP, and so on. I think it's like the higher up, like the more that I've kind of moved up in my career, the more I've noticed that the technical skills, like you were saying, I think and the technical awareness becomes less and less important. It's more just, well, I want it to look like this. I want to feel like this. And just knowing in your core what you want it to feel like and what your taste is, and just being able to communicate that with the crew. And you have the best crew, and they're going to execute, right?
That soundbite that you just gave us, one, is a great knowledge nugget, and two, is echoed by some of the great film directors. When you see them on the junket circuit, and they and then the filmmaking blog plucks that thing and puts it on, like, be able to describe what you want to the crew. Zach, we have to wrap up. I feel like I could talk forever. I think we can do a second episode, if you're game, on
anytime.
The state of the freelance director. I predicted the rise of the freelance director around when you started, and it's come to fruition. Personal question: do you have any puppetry on your reel?
No, I don't.
Okay. Any inanimate objects come to life, anthropomorphized?
No.
Okay, because there's a job I'm thinking of you for.
Oh, okay.
Now, the show is called Respect the Process. It's back there.
Yes,
on the wall.
I see it.
And this is how we end the show. And thank you again. It's been a great conversation. Listeners,
check out.
Yeah, of course. Check out the spot. Share it with your friends. Go to ZackSeckler.com. I'm going to post a spot on my website, or two, because I got to post the AI link and the
Dollar
Shave Club.
Yeah.
This is how we end the show. What does respect the process mean to Zack Seckler?
So respect the process means to, I think if you're a budding director, I'm going to kind of push this towards the demographic of like budding director, filmmaker. I think it means understanding the overall nature of what a career as a director is going to mean. It's going to mean that there are ups and downs. It's a big roller coaster ride, and I don't think it ever stops, no matter how high up you get on the spectrum. And you're going to have to face a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unexpected situations. You're going to have to learn things you didn't think you'd have to know. But knowing that, respecting that it's all part of the journey. And if you embrace that journey, then you're going to be respecting yourself and you're going to be respecting the work that you create in the best way possible.
That's a great answer. I've always questioned the balance between the ego and the humility that a director needs to have. Like if ego and humility were on a seesaw, you have to have enough ego to go, my take on this material is the best. And I've been hired to execute my opinion. But the humility says, well, there's some rules I got to play by, and got to respect the crew, and they got to go to lunch at a certain point, and things I'm asking aren't really, are they okay? Well, I'm appreciative. But my ego says, I don't care how hard it is to get up to the third floor. Lug that dolly up there. We're getting the shot, right? So knowing that it never really stops.
Yep.
In fact, I'll say that if you realize that there's no stop. There's no like, oh, I figured it out, really?
Yeah.
Then you eliminate that frustration and you live in the moment.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Just this morning, from yesterday's shoot, I, the director, owner of a company, took a special monitor and a camera head to Keslow Camera and dropped it off. Now, we have someone that could do it. I go, yeah, but I'm literally driving right by there. And they came back to my trailer last night. Like, that would be silly. And then I dropped those off, Zach, and I went to the edit house and handed the hard drive. And the editor comes out. She goes, you don't have to park. Just come out. I could have rolled by and handed it to her, but we stopped and talked. Like,
A drive-by handoff.
She didn't have to come out. I didn't have to drop it off. But why not? Why not? Just be a part of it. Do these weird things. Like, I think I've been to that camera house 4 times in the last 20 years. And they're super nice. And I know we rent from them a lot, and they give us deals when we have low budget. We spend as much as we can when we have high budgets. I'm like, why not just get in the thick of it? And if someone listening right now is in a secondary market or below, you're doing more than one job anyway, and you're getting your hands a little more dirty. And I say, amen, that's the way. That's more fun anyway.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for wearing different hats and coming up in a way, whether you start as a PA or in some other way, but having exposure to how hard everybody works physically on set while we're just, holding an iPad or twiddling with some papers. There's a lot to be respected there for the crew. So I think that's great. And I think that about ego, you always have to keep it in check, because I think the moment that you let your ego overtake a situation is the moment that you're going to get overtaken and someone's going to fill your shoes.
Oh yeah.
Because we are incredibly lucky to do this for a living, and people allow us to with their money. We're playing with other people's money and creating art with other people's money. There has to be some talking about respect the process. Add this to my answer. There has to be some respect for that. So,
bonus question, then I'll let you go. Does Zack Seckler have an iPad on set that he watches?
Oh my God, I cannot tell you, Jordan. I'm the type of guy who obsesses about like everything. So I'm gonna buy if I'm gonna buy a new mouse, I will look at every single mouse. I'll go into TechCrunch and look at reviews of mouses. I've been looking at iPads as an on-set tool. I don't use one. I always bring a laptop, but everybody, like the first AD always has one now. The producer will have one a lot. So I've been looking at all the different configurations, and I think for my next shoot, I will.
Wow. I use an iPad and a pencil. The only thing I use my iPad for, and it was a gift, is for sketches. I finally went from paper and pencil sketching to digital, just to save the paper. And it's easier because you can do layers and you can draw and you can erase really easily. Other than that, on set, it's printed out boards that I cross off with a marker. And it's folded up in my pocket because I don't want to charge it, hold it. But yesterday, we were actually talking about and I'm sure someone's done this, but I would consider, and this may be it for you, get one of those, you know how the quarterback has the Velcro wrist, like it's like a wristband.
Yeah.
With the plays, and it's got the thing. Get one of those and Velcro on an iPad mini.
Well, the sound guys have that. Do you see that? Like the boom ops, a lot of times they'll have the feed from the Teradek, and they'll have it on the so they're looking at the shot so they can see if the boom's in the shot.
Oh, I like that. The script supervisors have the feed from the Teradek too, and it'll grab a little screenshot for their notes. But we may have to edit that out because some agencies are listening, and I don't want them. I'm surprised in the last 10 years no one said, can we get the feed to our laptop?
Right. Yeah.
So we can watch in a small window instead of paying attention to the big monitor?
Right. Yeah.
Zach, a pleasure, man. Really appreciate you sharing your journey, your thoughts. Congrats on the steady stream of work, the Shots magazine.
Thank you.
Come back on the show anytime.
Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Commercial Directing Film School's mission is to help filmmakers direct commercials professionally. With online courses and in-person boot camps, we demystify the process to get you to the next level, all taught by your accessible mentor, filmmaker Jordan Brady.
True Gentleman Industries. We make commercials.